So I thought I'd do a little vlog, a little rant, a van life rant. This is for the people that get jealous of me and tell me I've got an easy life and it's carefree and I'm a lady of leisure and all of that. I mean, they're kind of partly right. It's great when it's going well, but it definitely has its challenges. I mean, even putting aside the fact that, I'm one of these people that doesn't have a lot of choice in that, I can't afford to live in a house, but I can afford to do this. But I also do choose it because I love it, despite the challenges. It can be great when things are going well, but when things break, mechanical breakdowns, things that happen on the road, even just little shit, it can just grind things to a halt and be stressful to deal with. So my latest saga, I noticed a couple of weeks ago that my brakes were kind of spongy off and on. Like they were there and they were not. Mainly on bumpy roads, okay around town, so that's good, but long development roads where it's just like, a roller coaster, the brakes would just kind of intermittently not really be too good, and I wasn't sure why, but felt a bit familiar. I had brake issues in the past, like this is kind of feels like that. So I got down after a couple of days and had a look at the calipers, and sure enough, one was moving around. Like, well, that's the issue. There was a bolt missing, just not there at all. I don't know how that came out. It is a caliper that's been off and on when I had a blowout a couple of years ago, so maybe it wasn't put in tight enough. I'm not sure. I also got bulked the other week. I don't know if that's related. Anyway, there was no bolt there. Like, okay, that's not good, but at least it should be simple to fix. It's just a bolt, no point. I got stressed for a bit and I'm like, no, there's no point getting too upset about it. Calm myself down again because, it's a bolt. Anyway, next town, I thought I sorted out. Went to 2 different mechanics. They didn't want to know me just because of the name, Mercedes. And at first I thought that's a bit rude. Because I get this a lot, people don't want to work on it just because it's a Mercedes. They assume it's going to be complicated and difficult, which isn't actually true a lot of the time because my van's pretty old and simple. It doesn't have any of the new gadgetry, electronics. But in this case, they were right in that it would need special bolts. They weren't lying about that, so they weren't going to be able to fix me up then. And they're even like, oh, you'll have trouble even finding bolts for this. I thought, oh, okay, see how I go. Well, Repco did have them in their database. They looked up, the model and ordered them for me. So that was easier than I thought. Except they told me they were going to be there the next day. They were not there the next day, or the next day, or the next day. And I got a different story every time I went into the shop. Oh, they're coming from here, they're coming from there. Oh, it's Brisbane show holidays, delayed them. Oh, we don't know where they are. I eventually cracked the chits and I packed up all my stuff after a week and was about to leave town, thinking I'm just going to have to get them forwarded if they actually arrive. But I checked in the shop before I left and there they were. They were literally calling me the minute I walked in, so that was good timing. They just arrived. So I ordered 2, so I have a spare. I'm looking at them, I'm like, I'm not even sure if these are right, but I'll give it a go. That was yesterday. My neck was really bad though, because I have issues that come and go from an old injury. Yesterday it was quite bad. I couldn't risk getting under there to aggravate it, so I thought I'll just carefully drive to the next town and do it there tomorrow. So here I am in Miles, and of course this morning it was pouring with rain, though I was feeling better. So what I did was I found this old servo with like an awning to get out of the rain and even a little curb to back the van up onto, so I had room to wriggle under there without having to jack it up. Thought I was doing pretty well. And then it looked like the bolt was the right kind of bolt, but do you think it would go in? No, it wouldn't fucking go in. This is after I've mucked around for trying to find the right tools, and I'm dropping shit and losing shit. I got ADHD too. I wouldn't be a good mechanic even without the physical stuff. Anyway, I eventually got it started. I'm like, yes, it's the right bolt. But it just kept spinning and spinning. And I'm like, is this me? Am I just being awkward? What's going on? It just doesn't want to go in. But this time I was getting a bit sore, so I got out and I conceded defeat. Called roadside assistance, which I don't normally like to do for basic stuff or any stuff, because often they're not that helpful. It depends who you get. They often want to just tow, and I don't like to have this towed. It's a drama with a bike and the cat, and yeah, it's really not good. And I've been told before in New South Wales that they don't even do anything on brakes. Like, they won't touch them at the side of the road. It's liability. So I didn't think they would today, but the guy here, I'm in Queensland, came out. He was actually pretty good, this guy. He took the wheel off because he didn't want to wriggle under like me. And it's good he did that, because we found a big gash in the inside of the tyre that I had not seen and would not have seen unless I was under there at the right moment. So that was really lucky that we found that, because that hadn't gone right through. I guess that's something to do with the slow leak I've had. But yeah, it would have resulted in a blowout after not too much longer, I think. And I've had blowouts in the back before. It's really not much fun. So I'm glad that we found that, but I wasn't expecting to have to buy a new tyre today. Anyway, back to the bolt. He couldn't get it in there either. Confirmed my fears that the hole was stripped. Yeah, so I'm not sure if it's got to do with, it might have loosened over time and stripped out the hole. Might not have been tightened properly last time, because this caliper was taken off and put back on after a blowout. Anyway, I don't know. But yeah, the bolt wasn't going to go in. It wasn't going to be secure. He's like, oh, I can try and force it, but you're better off getting it re-tapped. I'm like, yeah, I'm worried no one will hear it will help me though, because it's not always easy to get help. He's like, no, you'll be right. Just do the damsel in distress thing. People think that always works. I mean, sometimes it does, but not if people are busy or they don't like Mercedes, or if you're dealing with a women mechanic, they don't. It just depends. It doesn't always work. Yeah, this town. Anyway, I went to the tyre shop and they're like, oh, we can give you a tyre, but we can't re-tap it. And no one else can do tyres. You'll have to do the tyre here and get it fixed somewhere else. They're like, we have a tap and die kit, but we won't do it because we're not mechanics and we don't want to be liable. I'm like, oh, that's annoying, but that'll be like 3 times in a day, the wheels off and on. Like, whatever, I've got to replace this tyre, it's very dangerous. So I got the tyre replaced, went to the workshop down the road to ask about getting the bolt put in. No, we don't have time, we're booked out with mining vehicles. Try this workshop. They said the same thing, we don't have time, mechanic's off sick. Try this workshop. Oh, we don't have time, we're 3 days behind on our booked jobs. So that's 3 mechanics that are too busy with the mining vehicles. And I have messaged a 4th one, a mobile mechanic, but I'm not holding my breath. If I don't hear back from them by the end of the day, I guess I'm just going to have to keep driving with my dodgy brakes, and that's just how it is. And people wonder why I take risks and keep driving or riding or whatever it is, you know, with sketchy things going on. And this is why, because you can't always get help, and I can't always sort things out myself, you know. I try for the basic stuff, have a go, even though I'm not really mechanically minded. I guess I have a go more than a lot of travelling women do, but I'm pretty limited in my skills and my physical capabilities, even my mental capabilities sometimes, some days. So I do my best, but you know, often it's just beyond me. And I just stress myself out more trying. And this is just how it is, you know. You just got to try and sort shit out without getting too stressed out, and I find that difficult. And I know it's going to be like this every time something breaks, or I feel like it is. So my mind, my mental health goes as soon as something breaks. I'm like, fuck. Because I'm by myself, and you know, I have to sort things out by myself. And this is the less glamorous side of van life, and it can be stressful. I don't even like going to workshops anyway. Like, I have a complex about them, even if they are willing to help. Some are good, but I've had some really bad experiences in the past. Just shit broken more, ripped off, that kind of thing. I think, you know, a lot of people can relate, especially women. Not to be negative, but you know, it's you just feel very vulnerable when stuff goes wrong, you know, and you're having to ask for help, but you got to sort things out. And then, you know, there's the logistics of living in your vehicle. You know, I can't just drop my van at a mechanic for a day and then go home, or several days. You know, if they've even got time, I've got to stay there with my cat, or I've got to get a pet-friendly hotel, which sometimes I can do through roadside assistance, but that's a bit of a process. And it's just, yeah, it's a logistical nightmare. And then there's getting towed, the times I need to get towed. This motorbike rack on the back, it makes it very awkward. Really kind of all needs to be removed, and it's just a head fuck. So I try and avoid tows. I try and avoid having, you know, to stay overnight anywhere. Yeah, but even the little stuff like a bolt, you know, it's just not that easy to get the help I need. Anyway, that's my rant. Also, a magpie swooped me straight after my walk around to all the mechanics, so that was nice. But then I found 50 cents in the ground, so that's a small consolation to the nearly $200 I just spent on a tyre and the overpriced coffee. I was way overcharged that coffee, but I was just not in the headspace to say anything. Anyway, it's all silly shit, and I'll get it sorted. But this is just my message to people that think this life is easy, it's carefree. It's not. It's really not, and it's not for the faint of heart. It's worth it when things go well. The freedom is not like nothing else, but it's not easy.